All right, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Wasim, back with another video. The fives. But yeah, I was talking to my friend the other day, right? And we were just talking about like school and our upbringing, and how it's always drilled in us to go to college, get a good job, blah 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 blah. And then I realized, and I read some more articles on it, but blue collar work is making a comeback, y'all. And Gen Z is starting the movement. You know what it is? There's 4 things that people are starting to realize that makes blue collar more appealing nowadays, right? First of all, the cost of college. The cost of college has skyrocketed over the past decades, while people's incomes after getting those degrees hasn't changed much, right? So that drastically minimizes the value of going to college, right? If you can go to college and get not much pay difference as opposed to not going to college, or as opposed to doing some other work, then it doesn't really make sense to go to school anymore, right? Secondly is AI displacement, right? And what do I mean by this? White collar jobs, office jobs are so easily replaceable nowadays due to automation, right? We got robots doing, setting appointments. Every time you call somebody or like an office, you're talking to a robot, right? That used to be people who had to take your calls. That used to be people who had to set your appointments, you know what I'm saying? And now, due to AI and, other forms of, computerized programs, it's like those office jobs that people had, even like stock trading, right? You used to have to go to the stock floor and talk to a broker to buy a stock, and in the past 10 years, even sooner, even longer than that, all you've had to do is press a couple buttons on your computer and you can buy a stock, right? It's things like that where it's like, oh, I want to be a stockbroker when I grow up, or I want to be a financial planner. When nowadays, you could type into like a plethora of online programs like, hey, my goals are this. I want to have this much money saved up by this time. What should I invest in? How should I do it? What should I go? What are the different methods of investing that I could go to, right? And those are 2 main things that I came up with. There's a couple more. Thirdly, I wanted to talk about job security, right? So all these white collar jobs that college kids are going after, right? The reason they go to college is to get a job in a highly sought after field, whether it's finance or tech or anything like that. The issue nowadays with these jobs is that they are laying people off left and right. There isn't much job security anymore. And this kind of ties into the AI portion that I mentioned, because the lack of, the jobs aren't needed as much anymore, right? So people are, going to college, getting these degrees just to get laid off. And, they don't have a solid resume on their record. They worked here for 3 months. They worked at this tech startup for a couple months, and it's just not working the way they expected it to. So the whole point of this video is that blue collar work, on the other hand, is the complete opposite, right? Electricians, plumbers, mechanics, like these are things that aren't as easily replaceable, if at all, by AI, and like you can't send a robot into your house and fix your lights, not yet, at least, right? So for our generation, for Gen Z, a lot of kids, a lot of young adults are realizing this, and they're like, why am I going to college when I can just go, to UTI, for example, or like some technological institute to get like a trade, like welding, or like a plumber or electrician, like I mentioned. The return on investment is much higher, right, than going to college nowadays. And another thing on top of that, a lot of people are going to college to get art degrees, right? Or like history degrees, which has such a narrow scope of, job opportunity, where it's like, dude, to me, that's never been worth it personally. And just for some background, I am a blue collar worker, right? I'm in sales in the construction industry. So I sell construction equipment, right? So every day, as you can tell by my profile photo, I put on my hard hat, my safety vest, my steel toe boots, and I'm in the field. I'm in the dirt, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I never had that, it kind of just stumbled onto me. I never really like sought after that type of work. But now that I'm in it, I'm starting to do more research on, well, I'm happy, I don't feel like my job's in danger necessarily. I know the construction industry is growing as a whole, and I placed myself in this market and this area to succeed, as opposed to, oh, I spent 4 years to get a computer engineering degree, and now computer engineering, software engineering is done all by ChatGPT. You can type in a prompt to ChatGPT to create you a website or to create any type of software, and it'll spit it out in like 30 seconds or less, right? And there's a bunch of different arguments saying that, ChatGPT and AI is gonna make people dumber, or, it's a waste of resources because it does use a lot of electricity and water. And I'm not denying those things, but we just have to live in reality and understand that market, that sector of AI is going to continuously grow exponentially, and we're just in the start of it, right? I saw the nvidia CEO, I forget his name now, but he did an interview, and he was saying that this is the very beginning of the AI revolution. And that's kind of scary if you think about it, right? Because we're, all the young adults nowadays are trying to get their footing, but if their jobs are being threatened by AI, then it's kind of tough. Like, oh, my whole family has gone down this path. Everyone before me told me to get a degree in college and I'll be fine, right? I'll be able to afford a house. But as you guys know, things are changing nowadays. So yeah, just something to think about. Blue collar work is definitely the move, in my opinion, and it's more socially accepted now. I think back in the days, like, people correlated construction workers or like blue collar workers with lower education or lower pay even, right? So now you see these plumbers are making 100K a year, you see electricians making 6 figures a year, and you're like, they didn't go to college for that? I spent 200K or 100K just to go to college, and now I'm struggling to find a job, versus this guy who's like consistently working, and he didn't have to put that much investment into his education, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Are you blue collar or are you white collar? Are you team AI or no AI? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace.